The year 2025 started off on a horrid note, with the American city of Los Angeles suffering one of the deadliest wildfires the world has seen. The wind-fed catastrophe has killed over 24 people and swept through 40,000 acres in the greater Los Angeles area. The infrastructure is in shambles, buildings crumbling, and the whole city in disarray. It's also affected the sporting system of the Hollywood city, putting a big question mark on the Olympics Games that LA is set to host in 2028. The city itself is on the brink of ruins and battling destruction. Two of the biggest leagues in the world, NBA and NFL, have faced the wrath of the wildfires. NBA sides LA Clippers and LA Lakers have had to delay their games. NFL team Los Angeles Rams had to relocate their wild card playoff game against Minnesota Vikings. Not just the leagues, former US Olympic swimmer Gary Hall Jr. lost all 10 of his Olympic medals along with his home and belongings to the fires. International Olympic Committee, or the IOC, has assured Hall of replacing his 10 medals. The IOC providing replicas of the Olympic medals would bring some respite to Hall, but the Olympic Committee itself is faced with a massive challenge ahead of them: the 2028 LA Olympics. Sure, the event is still over 3 years away, but given how deadly the wildfires have been, the question is, will the city be ready for this mega event? Because the city, once known for all the glamour and glitz of Hollywood, is burning, leaving more than 90,000 people displaced. People have resorted to looting even in the evacuation zone. The city is already struggling to cope with the havoc the fires have caused, and this doesn't stop here. Strong winds are expected to spark new flames, threatening to reverse any progress firefighters might have made. So LA is tasked with a long, tough battle, plus the added pressure of hosting the 2028 Games, something that the organizers had been excited about when Paris Games had concluded. The city was thrilled to bring back the Olympics after 44 long years. They've been eager to organize their third Summer Games, but given the current condition, they have massive question marks ahead of them. Will it all be possible? Because hosting an event as big as the Olympics requires massive support. Let's talk finances first. Paris spent around $9 billion to host the events, and while this amount may sound too steep, it was still one of the most cost-efficient games, because Tokyo spent around $13 billion during the pandemic, and it still wasn't the most expensive edition. Brazil 2016 is the most expensive Olympic Games till date, having spent $20 billion to host it. Given the criticism Paris faced for lack of facilities, LA is expected to put up a grand show for its athletes and everyone else visiting, including the spectators. So clearly, there is a lot riding on the LA organizers and the city. When it comes to hosting an event like the Olympics, apart from the finances, it's also about the whole city. Every aspect of the city is involved in the games, and that needs to begin now. The heartening fact is that the city and the government are not battling the fires alone. Prominent faces, sports leagues have come out with donations to help people affected. But will all of this be enough given the wildfires have ravaged Los Angeles? They need to rebuild structures, restore some of the iconic places, because Olympics isn't just about the sporting structures. The event is a means to bring the world to one place. Fans come to experience the city and the biggest sporting carnival. Just how iconic places like the Eiffel Tower, River Seine, Louvre all had a role to play, much like the sporting facilities and the events itself. And on top of all of this, the fight against voices who are asking the games to be moved out of LA is an additional pressure. So clearly there is immense pressure on LA and America to deliver, especially on President-elect Donald Trump. LA Games are at stake, and given he will be the head of state at that time, Trump has a major task to undertake. This is the time for him to show the world if America can be great again under him, because his election motto was to keep America first. At stake here is also America's image as a sporting nation. Hosting an Olympics is huge, and the onus will be on him to pull this off. But can LA be ready for the 2028 Games?